YouTube, what is up? This is Hobie from Georgia Golf Collective bringing you a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing an update video of a video I made about a month ago talking all things TGL. The TGL has been out for about a month now. We've had about 4 or 5 matches and it has been getting a lot of buzz. Some good, but a lot of it has been negative comments about the TGL. And I'm going to be going over some of my favorite ones that I found here. All right, the first one I thought was funny is from Phil McFull. Brutal Scotsmen who invented the game are rolling in their graves. This is pure shit. All right, and another one for you from Jones044. Man, this is so bad. The ego of the PGA and its players to think people want to watch these guys hit balls on a simulator is crazy. All right, and one more for you just for good fun. From This and That. Tough decision between watching every shot here or taking a nap. At least I'll be well rested. Well, I hope you enjoyed some of those as much as I did. And in today's video, we're going to see if the TGL is boom or bust. Or is it somewhere in between? Is all this hate warranted? Or is it just too much? All right, well, in order to answer that question, like any good YouTuber, I made a pros and cons list. And we're going to start out here with all the pros. All right, the first pro that I want to mention, and I think is the most important, is this does not replace the PGA Tour. This is incremental golf that we would not get otherwise. And we get to see the big names like Tiger and Rory tee it off more than we normally would. And I also want to mention is like this is the perfect time. The season runs from January 7th to March 4th. The NFL is slowly winding down. We have the Super Bowl next week. Football is over. College football is over. And unless you're an NBA or a hockey fan, there's really not a lot of sports on right now. And it doesn't really kick off until baseball season in late March, where the TGL will be over. So this is the perfect time for that. And it does not affect anything from the PGA Tour scheduling standpoint. I mean, we have some big tournaments coming up, but this will be in conjunction with the PGA Tour. So you have right now we have the Pebble Beach opening happen this weekend. The Phoenix opens next week, the Genesis. And then you really go into the players, and the TGL playoffs will start the week after the players. I mean, it's the perfect time for jam-packed action golf leading into April for the Masters. All right, the next pro I have for you guys is the state-of-the-art golf facility, the SoFi Center. It cost them $50 million to construct this state-of-the-art facility. You've already seen the screen. I mean, it's massive. You have the rotating green. And I think the coolest thing about it is the undulation and the changes in the green and also hitting on real grass. The next pro is how fast-paced it is. I mean, they can play 15 holes in less than 2 hours with a lot of commentary and those type of things slowing it down. The actual pace of play is a lot faster than 2 hours. I mean, poor Brian Harmon. He wouldn't be allowed to be in the TGL with all the amount of waggles he does. It takes him a minute to hit a shot, so he would get a shot clock violation every time. I think it goes without saying, but also there are big stars involved. And I'm not just talking about Tiger and Rory. Looking at the rosters of these teams, and I just looked at the current Golf World Rankings, 10 out of the top 15 people in the current World Golf Rankings are in the TGL. I mean, it's just impressive that we've been able to get the big stars in the stage. All right, the next one that I have for you is the hammer concept. This is where you can make a hole instead of worth 1 point, 2 points. And it really adds more competitiveness to it, and it increases the stakes. And I just think it's such a fun concept and really is entertaining for the fans. All right, as a golf nerd and a golf technology nerd, I think this next pro is really, really cool. And that is the current hole designs and the ability to make new holes for the TGL. So all this is computer software, and they can design the holes And they don't have to stay in the same framework as what we see in reality. I mean, we could have, different types of holes set on different themes. I mean, they can really get creative here, and I think the future of the TGL is going to be really, really cool if they implement and make new holes and new challenges for these pros to overcome. All right, the next one is the competitive structure of the TGL. I really, really like how it is laid out with the 9 holes, alternate shot, and then the last 6 holes being 1v1s. I think it's just awesome. I mean, we traditionally see stroke play on the PGA Tour and do not get to see a lot of match play and alternate shots. And every couple years in the Ryder Cup is the only time that we get to see that. So it really implements a new structure to the game, and I just love watching that and seeing that competitiveness come out in the team aspect. Another pro for the TGL is that it's city based. I really, really like this concept, and living in Atlanta, I really like the geographical ties to the Atlanta Drive and be able to cheer for my local team. So I think this is a really, really good idea. All right, another pro is the use of timeouts, in that a team can ice someone when they're putting or chipping or even hitting. I really like this concept, and I really wish that the teams would utilize this more. I mean, if you have an 8 footer to tie a hole and you got to make them think a little bit more on it, I mean, I really do think this could impact it. So I think we've seen it a little bit, but I would like them to utilize it more. All right, the next one is a little unorthodox, but hang with me here. We saw it a little bit in one match. Matt Fitzpatrick had a long putt, and instead of putting it, he chipped it off the green on the green, which I think is kind of cool. I mean, it allows him to be more creative, and you don't traditionally see this on the PGA Tour because you don't want to mess up a green. But this being a synthetic green, it allows the golfer to get a little more creative, and have a better opportunity to make those type of shots. All right, this next one, I'm going to be honest, I'm pretty biased here, but I think a lot of you will be too. And that is Tiger Woods is my favorite golfer of all time. And us having the ability to watch him in the TGL, I think is awesome. I mean, his health doesn't allow him to play that much golf anymore on the PGA Tour, and he's not really going to be playing in that many tournaments this year outside of the majors. So having the ability to watch him compete in the TGL, and just to get to see as much as Tiger as we can, I'm really cherishing it, because we won't get that type of generational talent to watch ever again. I mean, Scotty is on a great generational run, but Tiger is special, and I'm cherishing all that I get to watch of him until he retires. All right, the next pro is the atmosphere of SoFi Center, from the crazy walkouts of the players to all the music and the hype around the TGL. And one of the cool things I like, and you don't get to see this a lot traditionally on the PGA Tour, but there is actual banter from the fans to the players. It's very laid back and it's very fun. It's not something we traditionally see. I mean, other night we saw Auburn golf team trolling, saying War Eagle to Justin Thomas. Just those little things makes it fun and enjoyable to watch for the casual fans. All right, on to the last pro. I promise it's the last one, and I'm going to get to some negative things about the TGL. But this atmosphere, like I mentioned earlier, bridges the gap for the casual fan. I mean, my buddy he said he doesn't get to watch a lot of golf, and he doesn't have the patience to sit down and watch 8 hours of a golf coverage. We'll sit down and watch the TGL. That's what it is going to do for people. It makes it very fast paced, very entertaining, and bridges that gap and opens up golf for more fans. All right, the first con, and probably the most important one, is full swings accuracy. I'm going to play a couple clips here for you. The first one is from Tiger Woods. He is 101 yards from a green, and he hits it 30 yards over the green here. I mean, just absolutely inaccurate. The next one I'm going to play is from Matt Fitzpatrick here, 68 yards to the green. I mean, not a little flip wedge for him. And it goes way over the green. Pros just don't miss it that much. And then one that's really, really blatant here is 174 yards from the bunker, and he leaves it 40 yards short. I mean, that just does not happen on the PGA Tour. And you've seen they've had some accuracy issues, especially from that first box. And they were hitting from anything from 135 yards and in on that first box. And now they've moved it back to 75 yards and in to kind of combat some of that inaccuracies there. But, there are room for improvements, and I think it can get better. But right now, full swing is not 100% accurate, and pros are reacting to that. All right, the next one is the green physics. When the ball lands from the launch monitor onto the green, it's just not reacting like a traditional ball, especially the ones where you hit on the back of the green and they hold the green, where in the real life there's no way that they would hold the green. I'm gonna play a couple clips for you. They're actually happened to both be from Luvid Agberg. The first one is 158 yards. He's probably hitting like a 9-iron into it. He lands in the back of the green, and it's picking up a lot of speed, and it just stops on the edge of the green with a lot of speed. Just doesn't happen. And then the next one is also from him, 197 yards, probably hitting like a 6-iron, 5-iron, or 7-iron for him. Same thing, lands on the back of the green and just spins to the left and stops. That just doesn't happen on the PGA Tour. All right, the next con is in the short game area. And I don't know if it's necessarily a con, but I've seen a ton of duff chips and players not getting out of the bunkers. I don't know if there's just, it doesn't traditionally feel like an actual shot that they would normally hit, and they just haven't adjusted to it, because some players have hit great shots out the bunkers and off the green, but a lot have hit a ton of duff shots, and you just don't traditionally see that a lot on the PGA Tour. I mean, it happens, but not as frequent as I've seen in these TGL matches. So I'm gonna say that's a con. I mean, it probably just gonna take them to get used to, but it probably just does not feel like a traditional chip or sand shot. All right, the next one is that when the players hit the ball, they are not displaying any kind of launch monitor numbers or metrics to showcase, how they hit it. All they're really showing is ball speed. They're not showing carry. They're not showing, side angle. They're not showing angle of attack. They're not showing club speed. And you have all these launch monitor numbers that they should be able to display, so that us, as someone that likes golf technology and launch monitors, and knowing our numbers from an analytics perspective, it would be cool to see what the PGA Tour players are hitting on these simulators. Another thing too is, I wish they would provide some insight into what club they were hitting. Like, you're 197 yards. I would love to know if you're hitting a 7-iron or a 5-iron. I mean, it'd just be cool to see the difference between the PGA Tour and, casual amateur golfers like myself, and the difference in the numbers. So the next one is, there's no insight into course management or strategy and what these players are doing. They say they have this little thing on the screen where we can see where they're aiming and stuff, but it'd be good to have a hot mic where they're talking as a team, like what the plan is, what angle of the tee shot they're going, what they're trying to do, and talking that out before they hit on the hot mic. I think this is really cool to see the insight of course management. I mean, we have these mics and we have this access to the players. It'd be cool to learn from them and see their thought processes as they navigate each of these holes on the TGL. All right, this next one we actually saw come into effect this past week when we had the Jupiter Golf Links versus Boston Commons Golf Club go into an overtime match where they did a 40-yard closest to the pin shootout. which I do like the concept of the shootout, but a match being decided by that quick in 40 yards just doesn't seem like the right concept for the TGL. I mean, I would hope it would at least be like a 100-yard shot on the simulator or something. I mean, make it a little more competitive. I mean, they did have a tough undulation for the green, and you really did have to get it close. So that was tough, but it just happened so fast. And I get it; they're on a 2-hour time window, so it can't be something that quick. But I think they need to go back to the drawing board and come up with something better for overtime. The next one doesn't really affect the TGL, but there's literally no marketing around this league. I mean, you see a few commercials here and there on ESPN, and they have a big presence on Instagram if you follow them, but their YouTube channel is terrible. I mean, they don't even post the full match highlights. They do it by team, and it's really hard to follow. So I think they could just increase their marketing and just make the league better, get more eyeballs on it, and grow it. But right now, they just don't have a lot in those aspects. All right, this next one I completely get from a business and sponsorship level, but the fact that they don't have team gear, at least a hat or something to wear. I mean, they're all wearing the same color, but it's all their own brands, own sponsorship. I don't know. I think it'd be cool, since it's a team thing in an arena type environment to have, you know, Atlanta Drive gear. They sell it online for the fans, but I think it'd be cool if the players actually, wore their team gear. And I get it, the sponsorship, but they play all these. This is incremental golf, and they're already wearing all their sponsorships on every single event on the PGA Tour. And this is team golf, so I think they should have representation for the team. All right, this next one really, really, really grinds my gears, and it's so simple to fix. They call it the hammer, but throw in an actual towel. I mean, come on, guys. Can we not get an actual hammer? I mean, give me like a Thor's hammer or something that they can throw, or a golf handle that looks like a hammer. I don't know, something unique to the TGL. I mean, just throwing a little towel is kind of lame. And I know they're giving the fans the towels where they can wave and all that, trying to be like the Pittsburgh Steelers. But don't call it a hammer if it's a towel. It just, I don't know. It just doesn't make sense to me. Next con is also one that I get, but Blue Sky I wish was different. And that is that they only have one location of the SoFi Center right now in West Palm Beach. And I get it, it's the first year of the league. It's a $50 million arena. But for the future, if this thing grows and really gets legs, it would be cool to have, one in each city where us as fans, like me being a fan of the Atlanta team, can go and watch without going all the way to Palm Beach. I think this will be cool as they grow and hopefully maybe expand to more teams and more eyeballs. But this is more wishful thinking, blue sky type idea. Hang with me, guys. Only a few more. But this next one is that the shot clock is kind of useless. I mean, not necessarily. We have seen one shot clock violation where Tiger Woods used over 40 seconds on a putt and it cost him a hole. But for the most part, guys are hitting it with 20, 22, 25 seconds to spare. And I don't really think it's needed. I mean, it's already fast paced and, the players are obliging by it. But yeah, maybe more for the putting and stuff, making that faster, I think, is what it's used for. But just a con, not necessarily a con, but something I wanted to bring up is right now it's kind of useless. This next one probably grinds my gears the most, and that is the ball POV. I mean, you'd hit a shot and it's so zoomed in that you cannot tell where it's gonna land until it lands. I mean, it's really hard from a viewer to know if they hit a good shot or bad shot up until the point where it's landing. So they need to zoom it out or do something different where you can kind of see where the ball is going to land, because right now it is really bad. All right, another con here, and I think an easy fix for the TGL is to increase the banner and the hot mics for the players. I mean, we don't really get to see a lot of the insight, a lot of the trash talk. I mean, a little bit. You've seen it with Tom Kim a little bit. You've seen it with Atlanta messing with Ricky and just having that. But we need to increase it tenfold. I mean, that is what it needs to be. A limited access to these players, their thought process, and how they interact with each other, talking trash, having fun. That is going to increase the entertainment value and bring eyeballs to the TGL. So we have to do whatever we can to get the personalities more engaged and have more fun in this league. All right, finally the last one. So thank y'all for bearing with me. But this last one is, I think, would be really cool if they implemented, and we've seen it on some golf simulators already, where the platform changes with the lie angle. Right now, they're hitting in sand, they're hitting in rough, they're hitting in the fairway, but it's all flat. And if it could adjust up or down, left or right, with the lie angle on the course, I think it would make it even more accurate and more challenging for the pros. And I would love to see this implementation in the next season of the TGL. All right, folks, there you have it. That is my pros and cons list for everything up until this point that I could think of in the TGL. So we got to answer the question, boom or bust, or somewhere in between. And right now, I'm leaning somewhere in between towards boom. I really, really enjoy watching this, and I look forward to watching it every week, especially right now with the lack of sports going on. And everything that's wrong with the TGL can be fixed. It's just going to take time, and it's going to take them listening to us, the fans, and implementing this. But I really think this has legs, and this can grow. And remember, folks, this is incremental golf. This is not replacing the PGA Tour. This is not replacing the Masters, the PGA Tour, or the PGA Championship, the Tour Championship, the British Open, any of that, the players. Like, this is all incremental golf in a low period in sports to drive that entertainment value and grow the game of golf. So remember that in that frame of mind when you're discussing the TGL. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Please comment, like, and subscribe. It really does help the channel grow. And comment, maybe there's something I miss, or, what really grinds your gears with the TGL, and what do you really like about it? And let's have a discussion. I would love to know your thoughts, and hope you have a great rest of your week and continue to keep hacking it.